you don't follow a process, you are going to be absolutely doomed and you will not succeed in the creative field at all. I wish I was exaggerating unlike my previous videos, but I'm not. Hi, I'm Rohit and I'm stupid because I don't have 1.5 feet of my small intestine. It was chopped off in a surgery. And what you are going to do with that information is none of my business. In this video, we will be talking about process. And I'm going to freeball this video. There's like absolutely no script written. I have ADHD and probably I'm gonna talk about something, skip it, and then continue with the third or fourth different thought that I get distracted to. So what is a process? A process is essentially a series of steps that you follow to achieve anything that you wow, what a generalized answer I tried to give. So basically you're in a creative field and to execute any sort of work you need to follow a process because that would help you or like that would ensure that your results are according to your desires. I don't know what I'm talking at this point of time. So a process can vary from you basically looking into the internet, for example a website like a Pinterest, and gathering inspiration. You basically collect 5 different images from Pinterest and take like the best parts of those images and create your own image. That can be a process. But the question is, do you really want to follow that process? The beauty of the output of any work depends on the depth of your process. The deeper you go, the better it is. Yeah, I heard myself. Why is process important? If you have a very in-depth understanding of the subject, when you follow a process, you basically attack a problem statement from multiple angles. The more time you spend with any problem statement, you basically attack it better. You observe certain things that is in the domain of the problem statements in your surroundings. You read about certain things. You talk to people and get to know certain things about those domain, which is often called an opinion. You can read research paper and do your academic research on the domain, and these all sort of smaller things can be a part of your process that enriches the experience. Now it completely depends upon you as a designer to allocate a process. But how do you allocate a process? You aren't born with a process, or like you just don't have it in the first go, and it's all right, I think so. So to start with, what you do is you basically go through the internet and find people who showcase process in the first hand. A very bad example of these would be those graphic designers who basically pick up brands and just redesign their logos for like no goddamn reason. So it is definitely a process for sure, but then as a creative professional, what you do is you start asking questions as to why did you do this again? Like, why did you change the logo's colors, or like why did you change the shape of the logo in the first hand? In most cases, the answer honestly is like, because this looks better. And trust me, that's one of the most vaguest answer one could ever give, because it's again like an opinion. And yes, to some extent creative processes do rely on the opinion of the person who's executing it, but it's often followed by certain logical steps. Now the question is how to ensure or how to find people who showcase the appropriate process. And one of the most key important part of a process is actually liking this video. It becomes very important for me to get motivation. Just kidding. An appropriate process basically consists of steps, and if you start looking into these steps, a person generally logically connects all of these steps together. For instance, these logic can sometimes look like, hey, I have taken XYZ decisions. Hey, I have taken this XYZ decision because this kind of decision is going to impact the target user of the group in this particular way, or I have taken this XYZ decision because the competitors of this brand are not using this decision in their design strategy, and that would help this brand stand out into the space. When one uses these kind of logic to define their process, that means that process or the thought process is very deep. Now here's a tiny bit of misconception that you might come across. Very experienced designers are talking about their process. They basically often skip certain steps into this process that from a third person point of view feels like they're directly concluding onto something, but it's actually subconsciously engraved in their memory, and then they have so much of experience that they can skip the steps and then end up in a very successful creative outlet. But that's not the case in all sort of designers. You and me are not very experienced, so we need to follow every step. What is the basic skeletal structure of a process? So the first step is that any process starts with the research. Now the research is either like a preliminary research or a secondary research or an in-depth research, a qualitative analysis, it could be a quantitative analysis, it could be ethnography, it could be observation, opinionated research, any sort of research that basically is done upon the domain of the problem statement. That's how a process starts. Once you get the research, you collect insights and you keep those insights and start building patterns around those insights and finding solutions or like finding newer experiences according to the insight. So let's say there is a brand, when you finish the packaging, the packaging is so beautiful and small that you can store salt in them. The brand does understand, and the brand figures out these kind of insights after doing like a consumer study. What they start doing is start collaborating with a company that produces salt. So this is a design solution on the basis of insights. So you get the salt and you can store the salt into the packaging of this other brand. So it becomes a very successful brand collaboration. It's kind of like a healthy business relation between the brands. I don't know. So this is how you act upon insights, and once you have these smaller solutions, what you do is you create 3 different ideas or strategies actually on the basis of these insights. Then you take those 3 ideas or strategies and you place it, and you weigh the pros and cons of these sort of things, and you figure out which is the most efficient solution. Then you take that solution or like the idea or the strategy and you expand upon all the possibilities of it, and then at the end you have got a creative solution to something. Then you take it, put it in a pitch deck, you take it to brands, you pitch your ideas, you get them executed, and you earn some money, you get royalties, you become rich, you have a wife and kids, and you live by the mountain with your 2 cats and your kids, and you I got distracted. If you're new to this channel, I would request you to subscribe to this channel because I often talk about processes and personal brand. To understand what is a personal brand, you have to watch this video on personal branding. And meanwhile you watch it, I'm gonna go and actually write a script so that I know what I'm talking about through a video. Oh my god.